for this game on Sunday night, and there's a lot of aspects that go into it. Number one, Zeke is out. Suspended 6 games. He has finally dropped the appeal. He's going to serve the suspension. Not saying almost finally, but now we can finally move on from this. He serves the 6 games and then it's over. Fine. I would have rather him done that in the beginning of the year, although Dallas does have a little bit of an easier schedule at the end of the year, at least now looking back at it. So maybe comes back for the last 2 games of the year, maybe they could do something. Right now, the Eagles sit at 8-1 on top of the NFC East. Dallas at 5-4 in second. So if Dallas wins tomorrow night, they go to 6-4, puts the Eagles at 8-2, which keeps Dallas in the hunt for the NFC East title. Eagles win, they go to 9-1. Dallas goes to 5-5, and that'll pretty much wrap it up. It's really hard to imagine the Cowboys being in a worse spot. Elliott, like I mentioned, dropped the appeal. He's sitting out for the second week in a row. Sean Lee, the team's best defensive player, will not be on the field after injuring his hamstring in the first quarter in the loss to Atlanta on Sunday. Tyrone Smith, likely to be out for a second game in a row. The Cowboys, they've made adjustments this week to deal with their missing stars. Justin Durant, inactive for the game against the Falcons. He will play on Sunday. Durant isn't as good as Sean Lee, but it's something. He is going to play on Sunday. He is better at covering the flat, the intermediate passing routes. My dad just texted me, absolutely right. It is a trap game for Philadelphia as well. It's going to be a very good game tomorrow night, I think. And we're going to get to that as well, Dad, I promise. It does almost feel like a trap game for Philadelphia as well. But, for Dallas, this is a big, huge game that they're going to play. Byron Bell is expected to get the start over Green as well. And the Cowboys offensive staff will have had, a week more to figure out how to cover Smith's absence. Still, though, the Cowboys will be facing the Eagles being down 3 All-Pros. It's easy to envision the continuing struggles that Dallas could face tomorrow night. You look on the other side. Carson Wentz, potential MVP candidate this year. You look at how this guy has performed all year in big games like the one against the Giants in Week 3, how he brought that team back to help them win. You look at the fact that their defense is probably one of the better ones in the NFL, especially that front 7. The trade for Jay Ajayi, you saw it in his first game. You saw how good that guy really was. And now that he's on a good team with a decent O-line, and you got a team right now that's flirting with an NFC East title and maybe going far into the postseason, now you're seeing what Jay Ajayi is like. And I think he's going to be a big factor tomorrow night against Dallas. I personally think he's going to be a big threat, I might add. And I will say this too. The Eagles, even though they're 8-1, they haven't proved that they are dominant or great. Their offense has performed tremendous in their last 2 games against the Broncos and the 49ers. They're potentially, when you look at it, whatever happens Sunday night, Dallas has an opportunity to go for a wild card if they lose tomorrow night. They still have a chance to be in the playoffs. But whatever happens Sunday night, I don't think it's the end of the world if Dallas doesn't come out on top. Sure, you want to win. Sure, do I believe it's a must-win game for the division? Absolutely. Because I think if Dallas wins this game, I think it's winner-take-all in Philadelphia on New Year's Eve for the NFC East title. Big trap game for Philly because it's in Dallas. It's going to be in front of 85,000 people. Dallas is going to be coming in strong. Dak Prescott, even in the loss, tried to put the team on his back last week in Atlanta, and at parts it worked. He controlled that offense. There were positives. Sure, they didn't win the game, but there were at least positives with the fact that Dak doesn't necessarily need Ezekiel Elliott to be proactive and to win games. Now, do I think that Zeke being out is a big disadvantage? Do I even have to answer the question? Absolutely. You saw in the playoff game against Green Bay, in that final drive before Green Bay won the game, that drive for the first time all year was solely about Dak Prescott. It wasn't about Ezekiel Elliott. It wasn't about Dez Bryant. It wasn't about the play calling. It was about Dak Prescott. And what did the kid do? He drove Dallas down the field with 3 minutes to go and tied the game. Aaron Rodgers, being Aaron Rodgers, won the game 30 seconds later. But I digress. Dak Prescott is able to get it done on his own. He's proven it time and time again that he can do it. He's got to look for guys like Dez Bryant to get open. Got to look for other options like Alfred Morris, Darren McFadden. Where was he in Atlanta? I'd like to see him play this week. Dallas has options. Yes, is Ezekiel Elliott a big factor in this offense? Absolutely. Dak can get this done on his own. He's proven it before. And after taking on the Eagles, the Cowboys take on 4 straight teams with losing records. As I mentioned before, they still have an easy schedule going forward. You have the 3-6 Chargers, the 4-5 Redskins. You got the 1-8 Giants up here in the Meadowlands, and you have the 4-5 Raiders. Smith is expected to be back as early as Thanksgiving against the Chargers, and Lee trailing soon behind him as well. The Cowboys, I think, will at least win 3 of those games. I really do. I think you'll demolish the Giants. You should beat the Chargers and the Redskins. The Raiders in the black hole, though, I'm not too convinced that they're going to be able to come out and win that one. And then Elliott is set to miss, leaving the Cowboys at 8-6. Heading into a crucial game against the Seahawks on Christmas Eve, he should be expected to be back in that game. They had every chance to make the playoffs behind a healthy and rested Ezekiel Elliott. I really think that if for whatever reason Dallas does not win tomorrow night, that there is still a chance that maybe they could even fight for the East, but there's definitely a chance that they could sneak out a wild card spot. It's possible for this team. If you have a fully healthy and fully staffed Dallas Cowboys team, they are one of the best in the league, and everybody knows it. They're banged up, yes. Now, I'm not going to blame the injuries on the fact that they're 5-4. This team has not performed up to par at all this year. The Green Bay game should have been a win. The LA Rams game should have been a win. There were times, and to be honest, I will say this, I think the Ezekiel Elliott case has been the biggest distraction of this team all season. Now we can finally put it to rest. He can serve the suspension. He'll be back against Seattle on Christmas Eve, where hopefully this team still has aspirations of being in the postseason. And when you just go right down and think about it, this team is good when they're all healthy. And honestly, tomorrow night, you may think means everything, and I think it means a lot. I don't think it means everything, because I think win or lose tomorrow, I still think that Dallas is going into the playoffs.